is where we hold them. This is where we fight. This is where they die. And these shield boys. Remember this day, man, or it will be yours for all time.
How are you guys doing? Crime Stripper here, and I've got a replay here from a very good longtime friend, Mr. Geno Side 24, or as we just like to call him, Geno. As you can see, Geno's been playing for quite some time. He's got his CBT flag on here, and he's playing the Napoli. So Geno and I go way back. We've now known each other for going on like 10 years. This is the first time I've featured Geno on the YouTube channel, and this is the first time I've featured the Napoli on the YouTube channel. And by the way, if you're looking for a solid Napoli player for clan battles or something, hit Geno up. Probably one of the best competitive players that I've played with. Geno and I have played, Supremacy League and COTS. We've taken teams to, clans to Hurricane and stuff like that. Definitely one of the best competitive players that I've played with. So yeah, if you guys need a really, really solid, good team player, make sure to hit Geno up. And you're going to see just what he can do here in a situation where he is the team in the Napoli, and that's what's going to happen here. So right away, if we look at the lineups here, got a couple DDs, Sherman, Fletcher, Zed, and Jaeger. Over the enemy team, Yodo, Wooster, Inchin. We've got a Colombo Conte Verde div, and a main over here, and a Lepanto. As well as there's a midway. If we look on the minimap right now, our Haikuru is kind of taking an aggressive spot, and I think he might have just hit the forward button by accident, because he is going to eventually loop around here. So Geno right away is trying to take a position over here on this 9-10 flank on this map here in the old Napoli. This is going to be a fun game, and Geno, on top of all of his accolades, he is one of the old school testers for this game. I think there was a time period, and maybe even still true, Geno had like the most games played on the test server. Definitely someone who, if you're still playing the game today, Geno was very, very integral into the early iteration of this game and a lot of the testing, and became very, very important for that test program early on. And you're just going to see all that knowledge in this one particular game here from Geno. And you can see already the Inchin's been spotted, the Z46 been spotted over here in the main. And of course it looks like the Conteverde and the Colombo are also coming over here. So Geno's just kind of looking for spots. He spotted himself. Again, if you don't know, the Napoli gets very, very good secondaries. It gets a smoke where it can fire from its secondaries. Pretty good gun, tanky armor, and very, very usable torpedoes. And Geno's going to use all of those in this replay. Yet alone just some positioning here, so just he's going to take some speculative torps up here. Might as well, in case the main comes back, as well as the Colombo and the Conteverde are coming through. Never know if they're going to decide to cut out. They're kind of in range if they were to flatten out. He's looking briefly over there at the Sherman, but he kind of sees that his DD's in trouble here. So he's going to try to back up the Venom, and he's going to peek here. And this is the play that Geno's going to do here is really going to be interesting, and it's going to work out, and it's going to be very, very clutch. We'll show in the results screen here, but Geno is the team here. So finds spots out the Jaeger, the CB spots him out, so Geno's going to get some shots into the Jaeger. This Jaeger is going to be all over the map, so actually well played to the Jaeger. And here we go, the Zed decides to pull forward in front of Geno. Even though Geno was spotted, that's a bit of a wild decision there. So yeah, that Z46 is no longer on the enemy team there. That works out. And you can see on the minimap there too, the midway is up there. We also have this Yugumo, who's going to be spotting here, which is nice for like the Vermont, but that is a very, very intense push there. So we'll see how this goes out. So Geno's just kind of slow playing right now, and why is he so? You know, we got that push coming through. Not sure how that's all gonna play out yet. The Inchin gets taken out by the Yugumo, which is pretty wild. So well played to the Yugumo there. However, you know, their team's still kind of down. They're flipping this cap though. We'll see how it works out. This Venom's pushing up a little bit aggressively, probably trying to get some torpedoes here. Geno's going to kind of creep forward here, and this is important too. Geno shows some very good patience here and the early on with this game, but then you're going to see just, and it's going to happen here pretty quick, where Geno's just going to take over. Unfortunately, Venom gets killed by the Jaeger there. Got this main pushing down. These are going to be very well led torps, and if you guys want to see how to lead torps where not necessarily the indicator showing, but where you believe something is going to be given the positioning of the boat on the map and what's going on. Obviously, this main's got to try to dodge torps. Can find out how to do that here from Mr. Geno. He now knows that he's also got the Colombo and the Conteverde coming here. You can see the Napoli secondaries just going to town here. Geno's not going to shoot here because if he shoots, he gets spotted, especially not knowing where that Jaeger is, and the Jaeger's taking pop shots on him. So he thinks that the main's going to, you know, potentially maybe eat those torps or have to dodge them, so that's going to straighten out the main. So instead of going where the torps are leaded there on the indicator, he then puts them a little bit flatter, and it's definitely going to pay off. Getting 2 torps there, a solo cap here as well. Now we got the Colombo and the Conteverde coming. Napoli's very tanky. You're going to see that here. Got a lot of things coming in on him. Still taking flooding damage there for that main, which is huge, but now he's got to angle to 2 SAP BBs and a main here all at once. This is really, you can see the angles that he's taking here, trying to make sure that the strongest part of the armor as he kites out is positioned to mitigate damage between all 3. You can see Geno, I'm not touching. So this is Geno looking around. So you can see what's kind of going through his mind with how he's looking around. Their main's taken out. Colombo now is going to be the focus here for Geno here. And this Cambridge is coming back to try to help. Does he? Eh, whatever. It is what it is. Colombo's lower HP, so Geno's going to try to work over the Colombo a little bit more. Gets a double fire there on Geno. Got torps coming through there to potentially turn out this Colombo. Geno burns his DCP. Still knows that the Colombo's there. Colombo's shot here briefly. Doesn't even lock on. Just puts those shots out there trying to get the Colombo out. Their team is still down, even despite all of this. And now it's just the Conteverde here. So another good indication, too, of torp leading. And you'll see this here some more, knowing that the Conteverde has to get around the Colombo's corpse. Leading these torps not necessarily where the indicator is, but rather where he believes that the Conteverde is going to move, given the Conteverde's map positioning. As well as sometimes you have to take into account acceleration too, right? And you'll see that here with these torps and how the Conteverde is potentially going to turn. So secondary is still working over the Conteverde. You now have a Sherman and Yodo pushing up here into the middle. Geno again trying to stay angled. If the Conteverde knew how to utilize the SAP on that boat a little bit better, again, that's one of those things too from another standpoint. Learning your boat, you can see Geno's here definitely a master of the Napoli. And I think maybe the Conteverde just maybe potentially didn't understand the SAP and how that works so well. Otherwise, they definitely probably could have done a little bit more work to Geno. But unfortunately, again, those usable torpedoes there from the Napoli coming through and taking out the Conteverde. So Geno took out basically a main, a Conteverde, and a Colombo on his flank while picking up a solo cap there. Guys, come on. He's trying so hard to help out his team here, and they're still down. Gets some some more secondaries here. It looks like you got the Fletcher over on that side taking some pop shots at Geno. Again, the Affermante, or Affernande, however the hell we're saying that thing, gets the base resets there too, by the way. Jaeger's there, so Geno's got to be worried about the Jaeger, but the team is down by now, over 100 points. Gotta stop the bleed somehow, gotta get some kills. Something needs to be done. again, if you missed any of my rants here in the Aphrodite, that thing's pretty trash. So unfortunately, with the map positioning, if the Aphrodite doesn't even get closer, he might even be out of range of like the Yodo. The thing has 0 range. So he's basically like useless for everything else on the map. He needs to move. Well, maybe not, because now the Woozer's pushed out. The Jaeger torped into Geno, but Geno kind of realized that they were coming. There is a Napoli-sized gap there. Again, you can see Geno looking around, expecting the Fletcher to be there. There's the Fletcher, putting the secondaries onto the Fletcher, torping towards the Fletcher. Fletcher, unfortunately for him, isn't closing the distance between Geno and him. And look, just the SAP secondaries on the Napoli just working over this Fletcher. He is way out of his league here. Again, Geno holding fast and not shooting, picking up the close quarters expert kill on the Fletcher. This is huge. Again, Jaeger's spotted now too. Yodo's right in front of him. What more can we do here? Dodges the Jaeger Pete's. Masterful gameplay here. Going to try to slow down to make this turn a little bit tighter so that the Yodo is on the back side of that island and cannot get his torps off, or potentially, you know, his guns even too. Geno's going to put some torps right across the bow of the Jaeger here as well to make sure that the Jaeger knows, hey, I'm not letting you move forward there, bud. Not yet. You stay put there, guy. Midway's moved up here as well. Again, Geno's now in this cap stalling with the Yodo. The Vermont has moved over. You can see our CV is finally rotated back, but, you know, whatever. It is what it is. Jaeger's torps probably aren't up yet. And unfortunately for that Jaeger, a little bit too close. Couldn't get out in time. That picks up Geno's Kraken Unleashed here. The Vermont gets the Midway, so they have no more CV. Geno looking for shots potentially on the Yodo, but still looking around here, you know, for those torpedoes from the Yodo, knowing what the Yodo's torp angles are. Just masterful play here from Geno. Does he risk it for the biscuit? Yes, he does, realizing that the Sherman was very, very low. Gets the blind kill there on the Sherman. Now it's just the Yodo left. Puts some more torps out here. The CV gets some torps on Geno with his dying breath. Has completely turned it around. Masterful gameplay here by Geno. Picks up this spotting damage here at the end. Yeah, just an absolute giga carry by Geno. Masterful gameplay. His team wanted nothing to do with trying to play that game, and Geno said, "No, hold my beer. We're doing this. I can figure this out. I can do this. I've been in tougher situations before. We're making it happen." Just wonderful play from Geno here, showing what the Napoli can do. And, you know, we've got a whopping 3.1k base experience here from Geno in the Napoli. That's huge, and especially nobody else on his team is even at 2k. You know, we're doing more than 1,000 base experience than the second closest person on our team. Wild stuff. Definitely carrying the team. Looking through more at the detailed report. Of course, doing what you like to see, having impact across the board there on almost the vast majority of that team. Almost 100k damage to the main. Worked over the Yater, Verde, Colombo, Fletcher. 1.5 million potential damage too up here. Again, the Napoli gets very, very good armor. But if we think about the guns that he was against, particularly in the engagement with the main, the Verde and the Colombo, the main being known as the white bar generator, and for a reason, it smashes, it hits hard, but Geno was effectively using his armor. And then even to the two SAP boats were having a hard time dealing with Geno's armor. I think the Verde just honestly wasn't aiming properly, but the Colombo definitely was struggling with Geno there in that situation, and Geno utilizing his torpedoes well and doing what he had to there to try to work that over. So masterful gameplay here from Geno, netting 3k base experience, over 3k base experience, and just showing you guys what a player can do here with this back up against the wall. Even picking up a solo cap here too in front of all those boats. 23 planes shot down to 332 secondary hits. Just some wild gameplay from Geno. And again, just happy to feature one of my longest World of Warships friends here on the channel. If you guys see Geno in game, make sure you tell him, hey, that was an awesome, awesome replay and a great game by him. And again, if you guys, reach out to Geno. Vast knowledge about all boats. Like I mentioned before, for the while, longest, most games played on the test server, was a super tester forever. Very, very knowledgeable guy, and you can see all of the knowledge that Geno possesses coming to fruition in this particular game. So Geno, thanks for the replay. Great game. Guys, if you want your replay featured here, shoot me an email or message me on Discord. Again, I'll probably be streaming most likely tomorrow evening, and look forward to catching you all then. Geno, thank you. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your week. Happy Taco Tuesday. Catch you all later.